demo of our product and our approach around it. I do want to mention that the enterprise IoT product in Microsoft is shared, as mentioned, between Defender for IoT and MDE. The same data exists in both portals. Because we have a lot of MDE users on this call, I will show the Defender for Endpoints portal, but we also have the Defender for IoT portal that also contains the inventory and other means. And at the end, both portals will be a mirror view of the same security value, and users can choose what will be the best and most fitting portal for them. Perfect. So this is the Defender for Endpoints device inventory page. As you can see, there's a tab here for IoT devices. Basically, this means that for endpoints, whether they are managed or not, for network devices and for IoT devices, we have a single location, a one-stop shop for these devices. So this already makes it so much easier for security teams to manage different devices through the same portal. You don't need another UI, you don't need another system, you have everything here. As mentioned, the context, the classification, I think this is perhaps the most important part of this product, to identify what previously has just been seen as an IP address. Now we can associate it to a specific device, to a specific function, to a specific business operation. So this already provides context, and users can now better understand their environment and identify rogue or misconfigured devices, even just based on that. We said that, again, it is hard for the security teams to kind of keep track of existing and new devices. So we've added this capability of basically filtering what new devices has been identified, so that customers can, again, add it into their security operations, and on a daily basis, investigate these new devices and decide whether they're legitimate, if they are rogue, and if we need a new security procedure or process in our organization in order to manage these devices. Additionally, around the risk and exposure, to know if these devices have been identified to have vulnerabilities, security recommendations, misconfigurations, or if they're even associated with suspicious activity or an ongoing incident. So it is easy for customers to prioritize what devices need attention, and perhaps even that they are part of a greater incident that needs to be addressed immediately. I will also show, second, of course, that it would require re-authentication. Okay, perfect. Close this and open it again. All right. Perfect. So users can also identify how important this device is. Naturally, a security camera in the back office or outside of our building is not necessarily very interesting, but the conference phone in the CEO room is definitely a very high importance device, and we want to acknowledge that. So having this way of prioritizing enables us to be very proactive and put the effort in the right place. Also, managing tags allows us to identify owners or associate business functions, locations, and generally say anything that we want or need about the device, and makes it much easier for us to manage it. In the device page, we can get the full details for this device. So again, full and very rich context about the bill of material of the device, the vendor and model, information about the firmware, about operating system, what applications have been identified on that device, as well as vulnerabilities and security recommendations that we have associated with this device, and as mentioned, even alerts. We can go straight to the CV repository and basically see if we have a specific vulnerability that we want to know that affects IoT devices. Just as an example, about a year ago, we published several vulnerabilities associated with IoT devices called bad alloc that affects memory corruption in billions of IoT devices throughout the world. Having the ability to search if and what devices we have that are affected by this CV enables us to translate it into an action plan and decide, again, how we're better protecting and managing the security of our network and our organization. And with incidents and alerts, again, we can get the context of if there is a suspicious or malicious activity that a given IoT device is associated with. For instance, in several of our customers, we've seen how printers are being used for scanning, for lateral movement, and are taking a bigger parts of incidents. So getting that context here and managing it as part, again, of the IT operation of the existing way that we're going about incidents makes it much more easier and much more scalable for our team. We don't need necessarily more manpower. We just need more context and more tools within the products that we already have. Also, really around the active hunting, we can get mostly security and network information about IoT devices, and we will see that in our next example. So now that we're better familiarized with the portal and the different parts around IoT security, I wanted to show a quick example of how this is actually being used. And this is based on an example from a big customer that we're working with and that is part of our private preview community. So it all really started with the customer need to identify the devices in the organization, but mostly printers. They were moving to several new buildings, and there was basically a lot of chaos as part of this move. And one of their necessities was to identify now where are all the printers and kind of make sure that they are aware of it and make sure that they are in line with the security standards and best practices that they've defined in the organization. So with the visibility that we offer, it was very simple for them to identify and to manage these printers. It allowed them to dive deeper and understand really, again, the bill of material and how these printers are currently configured, and to very easily see if perhaps there are updates that are available and are needed for these printers, so that they can, again, decide if there's a risk, if they need to be proactive, and if so, for what printers, where they are, but most importantly, who's the owner, who needs to be assigned for this task, both from the security perspective and from the IT perspective. So this really allowed them to very quickly and easily identify what misconfiguration, what risks are associated with these devices, and really contextualize and understand, okay, this is the total sum of vulnerabilities that we have for these printers because they are not patched, because they are not up to date with their operating system and applications running on the printers. And let's see what action plan we need in order to resolve this issue and make sure that all of the devices are in fact secure, that we're reducing the attack surface that is associated with these printers. They wanted to be extra cautious, and they performed some hunting around these printers, kind of making sure that they have not communicated in any strange or weird way, or something that may indicate that they're in fact in an ongoing incident or attack. So having that visibility of how IoT devices are communicating with each other with endpoints enable them to secure that all of the printers are in fact working as expected, behaving as they should, and there's no additional action that is required. Even with that, they had some more requests around what can be done for similar situations. And we've added really the ability to isolate hosts, endpoints basically, to not communicate with infected or suspicious IoT devices. So if, let's say, a user is now bringing a Raspberry Pi and just plugging it into the network, the security team identifies this, understand that this is not an authorized device, and wants to make sure that legitimate and authorized devices, mostly endpoints, are not engaging with this rogue device, they can provide a specific isolation indicating all the endpoints to not have any sort of communication with this Raspberry Pi. They can automate their processes either with third-party products or with Logic Apps, which is the automation power tool we have in Azure for automation and for ticketing, and to manage any incident that this may include either in Sentinel or as part of MDE, M365 Defender, again, to kind of use the existing ecosystem, the operations that they already use for managing their IT solutions, to include IoT solutions as well.